Like I always say in regards to therapy, nothing is new to the face of earth. So same thing happens to the money market, and I think it's very necessary for everyone to actually understand where the money market came from and what we actually mean when we talk about um, money markets. So money did not just pop into existence. Need is the basic currency when it comes to money. Need is what makes money what it is. So, time in memory, I'm going to go through the basic structure of money that we all understand, because I am sure most of the people who've gone through basic education understand the history of money, the most basic history. So, there was a time when people would do barter trade, where I need a sack of potatoes, you need a sack of beans, we'd exchange based on need. But that trade became biased, and need for something to regulate or quantify and qualify quantity and need against goods and services came up. So people started using shells and the likes. I'm sure there are gaps in between, but the most basic is what I'll cover. So people started using things like shells, but shells were very hard to get because you can only collect them from water bodies. So quickly they evolved to using metals. Why metals? Because metals were readily available. People would do their regular mining, get stones in waterbeds, then they'd go by the goldsmith, get a transaction made where you'd exchange the good or service that you want at the goldsmith. Then the goldsmith would record that transaction on paper, and the person who offered the service or good would go away with the metal. However, carrying this metal around became a problem. Okay, became a barrier. Why did it become a barrier? Because metal is quite heavy. So as time goes by, we see that the family of trade continues to expand. We move from neighbors to communities, from communities to countries to continents. So as need for expansion of trade came by, the need for easier money also came by, or the demand grew for easier money, that is money that can easily move around. So with the colonialist introducing slave trade, paper money became the currency of the day. Why? Because paper is easier to carry around. So what colonialists did is they purchased, or rather took away, a lot of paper money that the goldsmiths were making, who were by then the banks. So they took away a lot of money from their the countries they are subjecting their force to. So they collected a lot of money, creating the first demand and the first entry of a money market, where now papers would demarcate locations. Like a shilling belongs to Kenya, a Ugandan shilling belongs to Uganda, a Japanese yen belongs to Japan, dollar belongs to US, like that. Like currencies now started demarcating continents into locations, and that is where the initial money market came from. Where for Kenyans to be able to build the railway back then, would need to borrow money from the states, who are British, who are our colonialists. They give us dollars, then that dollar is converted to Kenya money, Kenya shillings in our local banks, because now every state had a central bank that were regulated by these colonialists by then. So you'd perform trade. They would African countries would take loans from them, and these loans are converted to local currencies that are able to perform trade and industrial capacity or economic activities within those local boundaries. And that is where the initial money market came from. Money, however, did not stop evolving. Money has been evolving based on need, and that is where I said the initial currency for money is need. And that is why we also say in psychology that do not allow money control you, because it's basically paper. It's also controlled by need. Have the personal desire to have control over material things so that they work for you. And power is very important. Power over things, power over people, power over emotions, that's emotional intelligence, power over our own spirituality it's very important because it gives us control and mental balance. So paper money, that is how, so paper money introduced the initial market money, but money has been evolving time over and over again. So we moved from paper money to plastic money, credit money, where you'd send money to someone in maybe Australia or overseas or to a diaspora. You'd send the money with MoneyGram, there's Western Union and the likes. Then it will take so much time, sometimes money will disappear, security issues. So the need for plastic money came in. I'm sure everybody is familiar with MasterCard, and swiping that card in any place allows you to access goods and services. So that plastic card is basically money. So we moved from plastic cards. Why plastic cards have not been in the market for so long and people don't also trust them is because of security. They're easily hackable. So from plastic money, we moved to mobile money. In fact, Kenya is amongst the fastest countries with tech because M-Pesa is a home system in Kenya. Like, it was developed, it's a home system. And the reason why M-Pesa was developed was to solve the issue of distance. Okay? Where you probably have, maybe your relative needs something and they're far away from you. Maybe your parent is in Nyeri, they need 200 shillings for medication. You're in Nairobi, but it takes a lot of time for you to transact, to enable that transaction. Either you have to travel, do a bank transfer, and most of those elderly people don't even have bank, they don't even have banks that can enable them facilitate transactions. So M-Pesa became a mode of transaction where, as long as you have a code in your messages, an M-Pesa message that has a code, that code can be divisible into smaller values that can help you access goods and services. Okay, so you're able to access goods and services anywhere as long as you have that message, not the system, as long as you have the message. So the only limitation that now M-Pesa has is the fact that it's centralized, because the only hosting currency M-Pesa can host is Kenya shillings. So kama unatuma pesa from PayPal to M-Pesa, there's an intermediary that converts that money to Kenya shillings by the time it gets to M-Pesa. If you're transacting money from M-Pesa to PayPal, same thing. If you're sending money from your M-Pesa to someone abroad, they'll get money in form of USD, because there's an intermediary that enables that conversion of currencies to the existing, or rather the hosting country of the recipient. So cryptocurrencies became the solution for centralized currencies. These are currencies that are controlled by institutions, governments, banks, central banks, you name them. Like right now we have something happening to the Kenyan shilling because of the flooding of dollars in our current market. The centralization of currencies has made money not work for people, rather it enslaves people. So cryptocurrency creates freedom of currencies to people, where you're able to, where the market creates the value of a currency based on demand, and the security system behind cryptocurrencies, which is blockchain, and also the wallets that host most cryptocurrencies are on blockchain technology, is very much secure and guarantees you against loss of finances, and also removes the aspect of third-party intermediaries when it comes to transactions. So there's a lot when it comes to cryptocurrencies and the evolution of money. We have over 2,000 coins in the market against the entire world population. So we cannot exhaust the crypto market, we cannot exhaust the need. All you need to know is the key aspects in the industry, this digital space industry, so that you can be able to maximize return against your investment. Till next time, guys, adios.